I'm Jessie. I'm 49.
I'm Sharon. I'm 53.
My name is Sonia. I am 36 years old.
Hi, I'm Britta. I'm 44.
Welcome back to Interwovxn's 5th season, featuring conversations in celebration and support for women in middle life. This season, we are thrilled to share support with Kind Body Milwaukee. Dr. Ellen Hayes and her dedicated team are on a mission to transform fertility and family building care, making it more accessible, intuitive, and empowering for all. In today's episode, friends Jamie and Nicole talk about how friendships and shared passion can make an impact on their community, starting new friendships after 30, and what beautiful things can happen when we inspire each other. Today's space is owned to spreading knowledge around period poverty, as Jamie and Nicole dedicate themselves to do this good work through the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. With this project, we are creating space for women to share their stories. It is not meant to diagnose or treat a medical condition. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and well-being. Thank you to Gina Barrington for providing the interwoven music. Remember to hit subscribe so you can be the first to know about new episodes, and visit our website to join the Interwoven community, receive newsletters and event information, access all of our resources, and to connect with us on social. Find us at interwoven.com. That's interwovxn.com.
Hello, my name is Nicole Dox. I am a 33-year-old woman, married for 8 years in November to my husband, Tim. We have 3 children together, ages 8, 6, and 4. I work part-time at Cafe Corazon. That's my fun job to get away from family life. I also am a event planner, coordinator, and I like throwing parties.
Brooklyn says you have like 8 jobs.
8 jobs. I feel like I have 8 jobs.
I can see that.
All right.
Hello, my name is Jamie Robarge. I am 32 years old. I am a single parent to a 4-year-old, and I'm currently 9 months pregnant with my second child. I am a freelance photographer. I've been running my business now full-time since December of 2019. I feel like I don't do so much compared to you. And that's who I am. And how Nicole and I met, I kind of want to hear you.
I like the way you tell it.
Okay, I'll tell the story. So let me pull up my chair and put my feet up. Nicole and I met supposedly the first time at a Milwaukee Diaper Mission event in the summer of 2022. And Nicole was there with her family. I was there taking pictures. I don't think we actually met, but looking back on the photos, I definitely took pictures of them. And then both of our Nicole's youngest boy and my oldest child, they were in K3 together, and they both had like really big curly hair. And I have a friend who has a friend who has a child in our class. And they assumed that Nicole's son was my son because he has big curly blonde hair, and Nicole's hair is darker like my son's hair. I at first heard about this other curly-headed kid, and I'm not used to there being other curly-headed kids. So I was like, who's this other kid? Let me see him. And then I saw Noah, and I'm like, well, dang, he's really cute. Like, he's another little cutie. During that time in school, Brooklyn and Noah were becoming friends. And I pulled up one day for pickup. I saw Nicole walking with her and period poverty shirt on. And right away I was like, oh, MDM, like Milwaukee Diaper Mission. I volunteer there. And she's like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, what do you do? And she's like, I go and I pack period kits every week. And I was only volunteering like once every 3 months. So I was like, dang, you're really volunteering. I can't even say that I volunteer like that. So then we started chatting, and it was, who are your kids? What class are they in? Who's their teacher? And then we came to find our boys were in the same class. And when they came out together, and it turned out they were friends. And then that weekend was Milwaukee Diaper Mission's second birthday party. And I took my son just to go and attend, and Nicole was there with her family. So we just kind of hung out with them. And then Nicole was like, we're doing a bonfire and pizzas at our house tonight. You want to come? And I was like, sure. And now here we are. So it's funny because I think when people meet us together, they think we've been friends for a really long time, but we've been friends not even quite a year yet. But it was really nice because as moms, we both, when you have a child who gets along with another child, but then the parents don't really vibe that well, or maybe you have a friend who has kids, but then your kids don't really vibe that well, it just felt very effortless and natural, and it's been good. So our boys better stay friends, or I don't know what I'm going to do. But that is how we met. Did I miss anything?
No, that was it. And now Milwaukee Diaper Mission keeps us
Together.
not together, but like we found other ways to grow in our friendship and our relationship and serve the mission and help. I don't know, I feel like we became more passionate over the year about what the work that we do and how we want to help. It's been really easy. So that's timeline. That was October of last year. And I had an idea of hosting a party for the Milwaukee Diaper Mission with the goal to raise period products and to celebrate menstruation. So just talking to Jamie and learning what you did, I found out you had a studio, and I was like, oh, she has a space and she's connected and she knows people. Like, I'm just going to run this by her, see what she thinks, and tell her I want to host a period product drive, and then, but not just a drive, have a whole
You were
party.
Just like, I want to have a period party. And I was like, I knew Milwaukee Diaper Mission primarily because of the diaper aspect, but I wasn't super aware of their period program until I met Nicole. Nicole actually brought it up to me like, so every year I do like a cookie exchange, and this year I just want to give back and have a period party. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I was like, all right, let's do it.
And I was so nervous. We just barely met. She probably thinks I'm crazy. Like, this is a big ask, but it just seemed like she was going to help make this possible. And she really did. Because without the connections in the space, I wouldn't have even known where to begin. So I think that really, and seeing what we could do together with my ideas, the planning of the party, and her connections and willingness to help me was just like all it was needed to have a super successful
within 3 weeks it was put together
period party in 3 weeks, and now we've done 2.
The first one came about because Nicole was just like, I want to do something to give back this holiday, and we didn't have to. I feel like sometimes when people throw these like give backs, they feel like maybe it has to be like some accredited or like big thing, but it really doesn't need to be. All we did was we had the space. It was at my studio in the Lincoln Warehouse on First and Beecher. And we talked to Megan from Milwaukee Diaper Mission. She knew both of us, and we told her what we wanted to do. I think a lot of people thought it was like an MDM event, but that was all Nicole. And really what we did was we just reached out to some small businesses that we knew owners of. We reached out to some small businesses that we didn't know owners of but wanted to know them. We asked for raffle donations. We did raffle tickets for each box of tampons brought in, or you could buy tickets for the raffle. We had about 30 baskets and raffle giveaways from Milwaukee small businesses. And we had DJ 4000 there. We had Rachel Rad Illustrates.
Yeah.
So she was drawing like booty, period, butts, which was great. And it was fun. And we did, I don't remember exactly what we did. I want to say like 5,000 tampons and pads and a little over $1,000 for Milwaukee Diaper Mission from that party. And it was also really interesting as like a business owner. You learn a lot about other business owners when you try to talk to them about menstruation, especially men. Even like, I think a big thing with the period party for me was realizing how strong the stigma still is this was 2022. Like even my dad trying to give me, like I tried to invite him to the party and he's like, I'm not going to a period party. And it's like, really? That was interesting for me with the first one.
Yeah, I think for me too, noticing the hesitation around wanting to support. So it was a thing, which we didn't realize was going to be that way.
I feel like we should also mention Nicole made a flyer for the party, and it was just the front of someone's underwear with blood on it. So it was very like, I think that was a thing for some people too, because I had put some up in my studio. And when we had our second party, one of the people who work in my building had made a comment like, they wanted to review a flyer that I had for the second party, and I showed them. They're like, "Oh, it's not some bloody underwear this time." And it's like, why is that such a big? It was a
Right.
great flyer, and I actually think the flyer supported because it was
Right.
so like,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
And this is what we're talking about. We need to get rid of the stigma and the shame around it. One thing I think like I was super proud of after hosting the first party was the conversations that kept on happening. I feel like we created a space where people felt comfortable with sharing their stories because in the room, not only did we have uterus garland with people's stories written on them, but talking about it and relating and saying, "Wow, I bled through my pants before. I stained a couch." Like it's not that it happens to everyone, but it's not unlikely that someone else experienced the same or similar situation. So the fact that people were more comfortable with sharing their stories and talking about it, and like, yeah, it's just a normal thing that our bodies do. And I guess not necessarily, like, definitely not be ashamed of it, but more so just embrace it. Like, this is just a part of what menstruators experience. And it's not dirty. It's natural. It's so natural.
None of us would be here without it.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I was super proud of that. Just having the conversations and people willingness to share and talk more about periods openly.
So, Period Poverty Awareness Week is it's always the last week of May, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Nicole wanted our next party to be she wanted it to kick off Period Poverty Awareness Week, which is at the end of May. We started planning that, which that was interesting too, because I've been in business for a little while now, but always having a studio, I never really needed an event space. And with Nicole getting her business started, she's done a lot of parties in homes. So this was, I think, both of our first time really reaching out to venues. Some venues we didn't hear back from. Some venues wanted so much money. They're beautiful venues, so I completely understand. But a big thing for us with the second party was when it came to like the venue space or the artists that we hosted, we wanted as much money as we could to go back to Milwaukee Diaper Mission and buying supplies instead of just like throwing this big fundraiser. Really, when it came down to like the mission of what we were trying to do, putting money into those things didn't make sense for us. So we went more of like a organic route with promoting it. We had our second party at Boone and Crockett, which Nicole reached out to them. She really wanted, the theme of the second party was let it flow. So it was important that we found a venue that was on the river or the lake, but with water nearby.
Yeah, I reached out to Boone, and they were all on board and super excited, and like without hesitation were like, yes, absolutely. Basically, what do you need from us? Like, how can we not only host the event, but like how could we too give back? So they were willing, and they did make a cocktail, a specific cocktail, both of alcoholic and a non-alcoholic version, to
$1 of the cocktail.
yeah, and to go with our theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were great, and the space was wonderful, and we were able to be like expanded and not just in one area, so that we were inside, outside. We had DJ 4000 again, and we had artists, because I really wanted people to like experience things live. So we had live paintings and poetry, just to be more interactive and to have people be able to participate and engage in different activities. Being in a space like Boone and Crockett, the bar itself was still open, so we had more eyes on our event, and I feel like it really
We tripled our
just
we raised about just shy, I think, of $3,000 for Milwaukee Diaper Mission with that event, which is crazy because it was only 6 months later. And then we raised 15,000.
yeah.
15,000 pads and tampons. So I definitely think having it in like a public space, because a lot of the people who were there, I don't think came for the party.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sunny day. We did good. And then thinking about, well, something that I think about often too is like, it was a lot of work to put the party together, but the impact that we made. So in 2022, with our first party that we threw, 21% of all the tampon donations that Milwaukee Diaper Mission got came from our period party.
Yeah, for the year.
Yeah, for the whole year. So they sent us a nice little pie chart with showing that, which was cool. But I think something that I think about a lot, and I appreciate Nicole for this because I don't think I was really thinking about this in years past with my business, is I always knew as like a business owner the platform that I have and how I can talk about issues that are important and raise awareness and get people more aware and involved in things in the community that are needed. And like I had mentioned earlier, you don't really need like this. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be, it's just, these are the people I know. This is the objective of what we need to do. So let's help this organization. And I think through knowing you, that's inspired me to do a lot of the other community work that I've done this year. And something too with the party, somebody asked us, I feel like I get asked semi-frequently if there will be another one before May of next year, which we decided to do it annually. But Nicole has this really cool project she's working on that can keep it going all year round, while still talking about the stigma and decreasing period poverty in Milwaukee. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Part of this year's, I guess, objective or goal for me was to encourage people to do the work 365 days out the year. And really, it doesn't take a whole lot. So I'm encouraging businesses to provide period products inside their bathrooms for free for all. I think it's really important that something as small as this could change someone's day, could save someone's day, save someone from embarrassment, save somebody from having to leave or go home to get something that they may not be prepared for. You know, as menstruators, we could be down to knowing it to the day when our period might come, but our bodies are irregular. They change. Things happen. Things can come on suddenly. You could think you were done with your period and then it come back, whatever the case may be. But if inside bathrooms there were a little basket that was there that had the necessary supplies, that is just something that could, like I said, just so small and can go a long way, and really is like the quiet way of showing that people, like, I'm doing this. I don't need to know if you need this or if it's there, though. I know that there's people that might need it, and so this is there for when they need it. And like nothing more needs to be said. No acknowledgement.
Don't need
No.
a quarter
Yeah, you don't need to pay for it.
for an empty machine usually anyway.
Right, exactly. I presented it to Cafe Corazon initially, my employer, and my boss Wendy was like, absolutely, why aren't we already doing this? Right away, we set up a basket, and my last period came on, and I was saved by the products that are now provided in our bathroom. It's small, but it's important, and I feel like I said, if more businesses are doing these little things, it just makes people feel like that they are seen and that nobody should be without or have to ask. We've seen signs that say, please see manager for sanitary products. It's like, why do I need to disclose to you what my body is doing? So
Why not just have them in there?
right, just be there. When I discussed it with Wendy from Corazon, I had mentioned, whether or not, what would be the reasons why businesses don't want to do this. And she's like, it's pennies it's not a big expense. We started this probably, I don't know, 4 months ago in our bathrooms, and they are still stocked and available. So yeah, I'm just asking businesses to do the very same. If it's a matter of a community member just placing some there and then everyone else, keeping up with it, make it a community effort, or if the employer themselves could just supply it. That's all that's needed. It's not much. It's not a big ask.
I used to work for a cosmetic company. I was the manager at a store. But every couple of weeks, we would do a supply order, and it would be like copy paper, labels for a label maker, just like office supplies. And there was a list of products that were like banned items that you can't order, and then items that you can order. And tampons were on there. And in the list of things you could order. So I was like, oh, let's order these tampons. And they had to get approved by a retail manager. The order had to get approved just to make sure. Because you could also order like binders, notebooks, highlighters. It was all like developmental stuff. We generally had tampons in the bathroom, but they were paid for by an employee or a manager. Or it'd be the whole, I primarily worked with women. So it'd be the whole like, anybody have a tampon or a pad or whatever? And I got an email back, and my manager laughed at me and was like, who tried to order tampons? Like, we can't pay for tampons in the bathroom, the employee only bathroom. Yeah, that was the thing. And they were like, if you continue to order products that are not approved for the store, we're not going to be able to let you do your own supply orders anymore. And that was one of those things where having the parties talked a lot about how a lot of times period products are looked at as like these luxuries, but it's just essential need.
Right.
Because another thing is, shout out to Milwaukee Acupuncture. I used to go there a couple times a week and get acupuncture, and they have free tampons in both their gender neutral bathrooms. And I remember I'd go in there knowing that I had my period, and I'm like, oh, I need one. Like, I didn't need one right now, but I like felt guilty almost for like, let me take two for later because I'm not gonna be able to go to the store until tomorrow. But that's such a common thing.
Yeah. Yeah. My one concern with having it in like restaurants or businesses is that like we're making the assumption that people can patronize these places. So it's even more important that public spaces, grocery stores, libraries, like they're the ones that really need to have this. So shout out to the Milwaukee Public Library, the Villard branch. A woman who works there had heard either about our period party or my efforts in trying to encourage businesses to supply these baskets or bins inside their bathrooms, reached out to me and said that she would like to have a basket. I just part of what I like to do is you reuse, recycle, like art projects and things like that to I don't know, it's just my way of just reducing my carbon footprint, I guess, if you will, but also just a fun way that we can always recreate and reuse something. So I just took old recycled yogurt containers, and I made them decorative and cute. So, I'm willing to, give a business a little basket to put their products in. And so she did. She reached out to me and she said that she would love to have them inside her library's bathroom. And so I set her up with a basket. I had products to start the basket off. So I was able to set them up with a little nice starter basket, if you will. And so now you can find that in the Villard branch of the Milwaukee Public Library. So that's great. Like we need that because libraries are for everyone. Everybody can go inside of a library, and there's more places that it would be crucial and super beneficial and helpful to all those people who can't afford.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing with that too is it's, 10 products out tops at a time. And if these businesses are only putting out, X amount of products at a time, the cost is relatively low.
And we'll be right back. Are you looking to build your family, or would you like to better understand your fertility potential for when you are? From fertility assessments to cutting-edge treatments, Kind Body Milwaukee offers personalized and compassionate care to support your reproductive needs. With over 15 years of experience and countless success stories, Dr. Ellen Hayes believes in providing honest and accurate information, incorporating healthy lifestyle recommendations, and taking a collaborative approach to care with each patient. She and the Kind Body Milwaukee team are dedicated to assisting patients facing fertility challenges and are thrilled to offer the latest technology and techniques within their new state-of-the-art IVF lab in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. To learn more or to schedule a consultation, call 262-518-7448 or visit kindbody.com.
So initially I started volunteering with Milwaukee Diaper Mission. My mom, when Milwaukee Diaper Mission was so small and still so mighty out in the Hyde House, my mom, she needed to fulfill some volunteer hours. I was like, yeah, I'll go. So her, my sister and I, we all went. And I've known Megan, the founder of Milwaukee Diaper Mission, for, I don't know, probably 15 years now. we had, seen her little garage project turn into something awesome, and we wanted to give back. So I spent the afternoon with my mom and sister there. And then, as my youngest at the time was nearing potty training, so we were almost done with diapers. And by the time he was done, I was like, I took my son Noah and I said, we're going to go to the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. We're going to donate all your last bit of diapers, and we're going to give back because, there are other young people that need these diapers. And so I made it a little like family thing. We stayed for the afternoon, and then for the next several months, him and I, my other two, were already in school. We would just go and volunteer, and it just became like, I realized myself that, wow, I was very fortunate. I was able to diaper 3 children. I'm out of that stage. I'm done with diapers, but the work is not done. There are other people who need diapers, and I want to give back. So it was just like a weekly thing him and I did. And then now he is off into school, and I just continued on because as I volunteered more, I was kind of pushed into the period room. I was counting tampons and packing period kits, and I was like, wow, like after every time I left there, I'm like I felt, even though there was so many more products that needed to be packaged up, how many ever I made for that day, I was like, these are going out to the community, to my home, my Milwaukee, the place that raised me, the place that am raising my children. They are going to someone in need who could use these. And I just felt really great about knowing that it was my work that I was doing that was going to help someone else. Megan is such a wonderful person, and the way her passion, you can feel it, and being in the space, it's just, I feel so good when I'm there. They always talk about the dignity of choice and things that I was just learning, and I'm like, wow, not knowing that the need was so great. And so the more that I knew and started to learn, I'm just like, if I didn't know this and I've been, here for this long, I'm sure nobody else, or, not as many people know how great of a need this is. And so I felt inclined to do more, and just to how little old me could do something great and help out an organization that was doing such wonderful work. So that's when I'm like, I want to host a drive. I would see after every week, I would pack up this period product kits, and then the shelves would be empty or getting there. And I'm like, wow, how do they sustain this program? And then I would talk to Megan, and she's like, we're using our money to buy products by the end of the time because, we have to keep up with it. We're already in this far, and we have so many people that are depending on this that, we end up having to use our funds to keep the shelves stocked. And so I'm like, there has to be a way. We need to keep up with the donations. And so I wanted to host a drive, and then a drive just wasn't enough for me because I'm a party planner. So I made it into something so much more. And it was important for me to, again, increase the awareness because I didn't know the need was so big. I just had to do my part.
And you do it. Nicole yesterday was like, I'm going to Milwaukee Diaper Mission tomorrow because I have to. And I was like, you go. And then she shows up today in her hat and hoodie. I'm like, she's ready to go volunteer. I found out about Milwaukee Diaper Mission in spring of 2022. My son was, he's 4 now. So he was a little over 3 at the time. He was potty trained when I found them. When my son was born, I was very fortunate to get a paid 10-month maternity leave from my job. It was a 60% salary decrease though. So I was probably making about $1,100 a month at that time. And as a single income household, $1,100 a month is not a lot. I had a friend who worked for Children's Hospital and plugged me on formula. So that was a big essential need that I didn't have to spend money on. That was great. But with an $1,100 a month income, about $900 of that was going to rent alone. I think I qualified for $16 a month in food share. So there wasn't a lot available. I honestly don't know how I made it through those 10 months. My mom, I'm fortunate for my mom. She's very supportive, so she helped me out a lot. Every time she would go to Costco, she'd be like, I'm going to grab a box of diapers. And they're like pretty big boxes. So it almost, $50, $60 would last just about a month. So when I found out about Milwaukee Diaper Mission, I was like, wow, if I had known about this resource at the time my son was in diapers, it would have made a really big difference for my family. I had people I could reach out to if it got to the point where like I couldn't afford diapers. And there were times with Brooklyn where I'd be like, okay, I'm down to 2 diapers. I know he's wet, but I'm gonna let him sit for like 15 more minutes, and then I'll change. And people shouldn't have to do that. So when I found them, I just thought of all the people who don't have the support system that I have, where they actually are letting their kids sit hours longer in dirty diapers because they can't afford them, or not having their kids wear diapers at all because they've run out. So when I found Milwaukee Diaper Mission last year, I knew I wanted to give back, but I also didn't, well, with starting a business, that was my third year in business, I didn't have the time to continuously volunteer. I definitely didn't have the finances to financially contribute. So I just sent a DM to Milwaukee Diaper Mission's Instagram, and I explained that I was a single parent. I think what they're doing is great, and I'd love to volunteer my photography services however I can. I also sent an inquiry form on the website, and Megan reached out to me. And one thing I knew they needed, I can't remember what headshots Megan was using before I took hers last year, but I remember going on the site and being like, okay, they need some headshots. And that's really, majority of my work is with small businesses and entrepreneurs. So I right away was like, well, how about I come to the warehouse and I take your headshot? And at that time, she was the only employee there. So I went and I took her pictures. And then about a month after that, I shot an event for them at Metcalf Park. And now I work with them regularly. It's a little bit volunteer based. They also support my business and hire me too, which I'm grateful for, although never expect, because I'm just happy to give back to them and spread the word. I think it's a really great program, and not a lot of people know about it. I know they've had big reach with their support with the Bucks and Giannis and Mariah, but still a lot of people aren't familiar with them. I've met people in the community who are working directly with new parents, and they haven't even heard of them. So there's still a lot of awareness that can be brought towards the work that they're doing. And I honestly don't think I even knew about the period program until I met Nicole. But that's something else that was impactful, because when I was in high school, I went to a private high school. My mom was a single parent. There was one year she paid $16,000 a year to send my brother and I there. She was a Milwaukee public school teacher. So I just think of like, I don't know how much money she made, but that had to be at least a third or fourth of her yearly income. We had gone through a foreclosure when I was a junior in high school. And I remember not being able, my mom couldn't afford tampons, or it was one of those like, well, I get paid in 2 days. And we always found a way to make it work. But that was another thing where I remember like a friend giving me a box of tampons and being like, here, these will last you over. But because of the social status of most of the people who went to this school I went to, it wasn't something that was really talked about. So once I found out, I definitely connect to the diaper program because I am a mom, and diapers are expensive. I'm very grateful to have a business that sustains our lifestyle now, so that won't be an issue this time around. But the period program, I feel like once I learned about that, that really, I felt that because, well, we menstruate for like 30 years. Like that doesn't end. Diapers are only a few years, but menstruation is what feels like forever.
The organization has to really be specific with their mission, because there is so much need in our city alone that they can only do so much. They can only have so many distribution partners and help the amount of people that they are with where they're at now. So in order, like how important it is to have the awareness and the support and volunteers and dollars, the funding, like everything, like it's a big big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to talk about volunteering, one thing, like, I would just, I'm just a volunteer, but my good friend Ashley, she told,
Just a volunteer.
right, my good friend Ashley once was like, no, volunteers are the heartbeats to organizations.
Right.
And I'm like, you're right. So, like, I definitely, like, I changed the way I view it now. It's so much more than that. I can't even tell you. Like, when Jamie said today, I said that I was going, like, I couldn't miss it. With the start of school and end of summer, like, we were busy. And so I've been gone from my weekly duty for like a month, and I need to go. Like, it's such a great space for me to be in, and it's my solitude. I don't get much time to myself, let alone feeling like parenting is hard. Parenting is so hard right now for me. Doing that work is easy and it feels good, and I feel like rewarded just with the impact that I'm making, right? But like with my children and my household and the challenges that we face as parents, you don't always feel the most kind of thankless sometimes,
Sometimes.
So yeah, there's always work to do, but it's good work and it makes me feel good. So enjoy doing it. Very, very.
Well, on behalf of your kids, thank you. 'Cause I know they appreciate you and everything you do.
Glad that we're doing this together now. We've talked about how friends have changed in both of our lives. So having a constant friend right now is so special.
I'm emotional. I'm very pregnant. Don't make me cry. I think that as I age, I appreciate the wisdom that comes along with it. Thinking back, I'm 32. I think back to all of the things that I settled for in my 20s, and I think a lot of it aligned with becoming a parent too. Just stepping up the expectations for the things that I deserve once I became a mom. I had to ask myself when it came to relationships, friendships, jobs, really everything, is this something that I would want my child to settle for? Is it something I'd be okay with him putting up with, or whatever it may be? And as I get older, I appreciate that as a self-employed person, like, if all goes well, which I plan for it too, I'll never have to clock in or work for an unappreciative boss again. Or having a friend like Nicole, I tell her all the time, I'm like, I didn't know what I was missing out on until I met you. But it's the same thing, because then Nicole had mentioned it a little bit earlier. You evaluate the friends that you've had. I have a lot of friends who have been my friends for 20 plus years, and you wonder, like, how are those people aligning with where I am now? Because I've gone through so many different life changes since we became friends at 7 or 8 years old, or whatever it may be. But I would say I definitely appreciating my self-awareness and just knowing what I deserve, and also knowing that I'm capable of anything that I want to do as long as I put my mind to it and make a plan and align every area in my life in that direction. So my wisdom. I think too, physically, I'm a plus size gal, and before becoming a parent, I was pretty insecure about my weight. They say, like, once you have a kid, it's like, oh, your body did this like magical thing. And I don't think it just happened like that overnight, but it is something now where I'm like, I feel good about myself because mentally I feel good about myself. I know who I am. I have a better understanding of who I am than I did before. And because of that, like, it allows me to love myself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Your turn.
That was great.
Oh, thanks.
Wow. What do I appreciate about me? I think I'm humbled a lot. I feel like I wanted to be a mom so bad. That's the only thing I ever knew that I wanted to be. I don't remember having any like specific career goals or anything like that. I was a very, very responsible teenager. I worked. I saved money. I didn't really have any. I didn't get into trouble. Like I was very responsible, and I had my head on straight. I was very determined and focused. I went away for college, and I came back a year later. I missed home terribly, but I was kind of ashamed of that because I didn't. That was the first time where I was like, I didn't do what I thought I was set out to do. I didn't complete my 4-year degree out of state. So I came home and I buckled down and I really got to it with my education, finished a year early with my undergrad. Then I was all set to, thought that I was going to find this job that I was going to love and that they'd pay for my master's degree. Well, the work that I was trying to get into, I didn't really find the job that was going to do that. And, again, discouraged. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go for my master's degree. I'm just going to pay for it. And then, I'll work. And I just never, I've kept my serving job. Like, I really enjoy serving and talking to people. And it was important once I finished up my master's degree, I was set out to have my family. And then it was all like my time, my life, everything for the last 10 years now, almost. My oldest will be 9 next month, was my family. So realizing now how much that I did pour into my family and how being a stay-at-home mom, just working part-time or whatever, like that was my life. That is very much my life. And so now it's trying to relearn and try to switch the focus and realize, okay, my youngest is going to be in school full-time next year. Like, now, what does that mean for me now? So like I'm learning to try and separate myself from my kids sometimes and like to figure out who I am once again and to like just relearn what I'm into. Like, it's hard because like everything involved my children for so much of this time now. And like I felt like I was doing so good at it and I'm such a great mom because, I have it all figured out. But like looking back, I don't know how I did it. And I don't feel like I am always the greatest mom. And how can I do better and whatever. And so it's just like me learning, giving myself grace. I do what I think is the best at the time, and maybe I can handle things differently, so on and so forth. But like really just remaining humble and knowing that it's all new and I'm just learning and it's part of life, and things that you think would go this way or that your children would be like this and that they would do better or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not. We're all just learning and it's all just trying to figure it out, and I'm doing the best I can.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I'm giving myself more grace, and I'm anxious and eager to see what life is like post being home with kids for 10 years. And that's scary to me, but I'm also pretty excited because now I think I know what I want to be when I grow up. And hearing from other people, like, people pouring into me and telling me that, I'm so good at this. And Jamie, she's so supportive and like makes me feel like I can do it all. And my husband is he knows this about me, like this is what I'm set out to do because I'm such a this, that, and the other type of person. And like, it's all good things. And people like those good things about me. So like, to embrace those qualities and be willing to take a chance and to step out of my comfort zone, because there's more to me than being a mom.
Pretty sure you said at one point I was like pushing you into entrepreneurship. Like, yeah. I was pushy.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But now I'm like,
you can do it. You're doing it.
Yeah, I can do it.
That's the scary steps of starting a business.
Yeah.
But then once you know you're on the right track when people are attracted to that, and clearly they are. So you're doing it. Okay, wait.
It's so easy talking with you.
Well, I talk to you like every day.
I know, but this was fun.
This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're amazing. I love you.
You're amazing. I love you.
Thanks for joining us today. We invite you to give us a star review and to hit subscribe for a new empowering conversation each week. Visit our website where you'll find our newsletter, event dates, and other amazing resources. Visit interwoven.com, that's interwovxn.com, to sign up today. This show's copyright is fall of 2023. Our Interwoven producers are Teresa Kopak, Rebecca Jankowski, and Jen Gilmore. All original music was created and performed by Gina Barrington.